1. Most people never realize that their greatest enemy was never the competition, never the critics, never the economy. Their greatest enemy was hesitation disguised as comfort, clothed in the soft robes of someday maybe I'll start when I'm ready. But ready never comes. Success does not wait for readiness. It bows only to movement. 2. Thomas Edison didn't wait for the perfect lab or perfect moment. He created over 10,000 failures and still called them steps forward. That's the difference. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they refuse to act. They hesitate, they overthink, they delay. 3. The habit that ruins most dreams is waiting. Waiting for approval, for permission, for clarity. But clarity comes from action, not from sitting in the dark with your thoughts. You can't think your way into success, you must act your way into it. 4. Every empire was built in chaos, not comfort. Carnegie didn't inherit peace, he created steel from fire. Lincoln didn't lead from certainty, he led in the face of division in times where failure meant more than embarrassment, it meant collapse. But still he moved forward. 5. The habit that breaks most people is doubt. Not doubt from others, but the self-doubt that whispers louder than encouragement ever shouts. It sounds like logic, but it's poison. It convinces you to wait one more day, one more week. Before you know it, decades pass. 6. You will not rise until you stop obeying the inner voice that worships comfort. That voice that says, "What if I fail?" Forget that. Ask instead, "What if I don't try?" What if you die with the best of you still buried inside? 7. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking imagination. Had he listened, there would be no magic, no castle, no legacy. But the winners don't listen to the noise. They don't freeze in fear. They move, especially when they're scared. 8. The habit that cripples greatness is procrastination, the art of slow suicide. It's the addiction to tomorrow. But let me tell you, tomorrow is the greatest thief of time. You don't control it. You don't own it. It never promised to show up. 9. Most people fail because they delay the uncomfortable. They scroll instead of study. They plan but never pursue. They dream but never do. But dreams without deadlines are just delusions. 10. Henry Ford said, "You can't build a reputation on what you're going to do." And he was right. He didn't become the father of modern industry by thinking about cars, he built them. While others were theorizing, he was assembling. 11. Success is earned in the mud, not imagined in the mind. It is forged by movement, not meditation. And still, most people sit and wait for the right day, for motivation, for someone to push them. But no one is coming. And if you're not hungry enough to push yourself, you'll be dragged by life instead. 12. The truth is, no one will give you permission to become who you were meant to be. You have to take it. You have to declare war on your apathy. Declare war on hesitation, on waiting, on wasting. 13. Life does not reward those who think the most, it rewards those who move the fastest with what they have. Action over perfection, always. 14. You can revise a bad idea, but you can't revise silence. You can correct motion, but you can't correct inaction. The universe responds to boldness, not to neutrality. 15. Ask yourself, how many opportunities have you missed because you didn't move fast enough, because you were afraid to look stupid, to stumble, to begin again? 16. The greatest habit of failure is this avoidance, avoiding effort, avoiding risk, avoiding discomfort. But in avoiding pain, most people also avoid growth. There is no version of you that rises without resistance. 17. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison and came out stronger. Why? Because he didn't waste those years blaming the system. He sharpened his mind, prepared his soul. He didn't hesitate. He transformed. 18. So many people think their problem is lack of resources, but what they really lack is resourcefulness. They think they lack connections, money, mentorship, but truly they lack the courage to begin with nothing. 19. The first step is always the scariest, but the ones who win are the ones who step anyway. They feel the fear, but they don't bow to it. They walk straight through it. 20. Action cures fear. Inaction feeds it. The longer you stare at the thing you fear, the more power it gains. But the moment you move, the illusion begins to shatter. 21. And here's the truth. Your life is a collection of the chances you did or didn't take. Every job, every relationship, every lesson began with a decision. So what happens when you stop deciding? You become stuck. And stuck is the slow death of potential. 22. The habit that destroys dreams is comfort. Comfort sounds harmless, but it's the velvet prison that tightens around your ambition. It tells you, you're fine here. Why stretch? Why risk? Why grow? 23. But growth only lives outside of comfort. Every level requires a new you, and the only way to become that new version is to move while it's hard, to move while it's scary, to move while it's messy. 24. Steve Jobs once said, "You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backward. So stop waiting for certainty. You will never have the full map. You have to walk the path to draw it." 25. Do not envy the disciplined. They were not born that way. They built it, and they built it by killing the habit of hesitation. One act at a time. 26. Most people fail because they seek comfort over clarity and pleasure over purpose. But those who win the legends, the icons, the titans, they seek pressure because pressure makes diamonds. 27. They don't fear being alone, misunderstood, or underestimated. They fear only one thing: wasted potential. 28. Abraham Lincoln once said, "The best way to predict the future is to create it, but you cannot create anything if you're too afraid to act." 29. So let this be the day you stop choosing delay. Let this be the day you break the one habit that has cost you more than you ever dared to count hesitation. 30. Burn your excuses. Burn your delays. Burn your dependency on motivation. Because if motivation is your only fuel, you will run out every time. But discipline will carry you through the darkest hours. 31. Discipline is built on doing what you said you would do, even after the mood you set it in has passed. That's how you win. That's how you grow. That's how you escape the fate of the many. 32. Don't be most people. Most people fail. Most people wait. Most people wonder what if until their final breath, not because they were cursed, but because they never moved. 33. They never moved because they feared judgment, because they feared falling, because they feared not being good enough from the start. But here's the brutal truth: nobody is good enough when they start. Not Edison, not Disney, not Lincoln, not you. The only difference is they started anyway. 34. They were willing to look foolish, willing to be misunderstood, willing to lose first so they could learn how to win. That's the paradox of success. It hides behind failure. And if you're too proud to fail, you'll never be humble enough to win. 35. This one habit waiting until you're ready. It's the graveyard of potential. It buries ideas, talents, books, businesses, relationships. How many masterpieces died before they were born because someone didn't believe the timing was right? 36. There is no perfect timing. There's only your timing. And your timing starts when you say it does. The calendar doesn't control your greatness. Your courage does. 37. Most people fail because they spend too much time thinking about the mountain and not enough time taking the first step. They overwhelm themselves with what lies ahead instead of committing to just the next move. But 1,000 miles still begins with 1 foot. That hasn't changed since Confucius. 38. When Carnegie was building his empire, he didn't wait for guarantees, he built with vision. And when others laughed, when others hesitated, when others played safe, he moved. That's why you remember his name. 39. Too many people today are addicted to information but allergic to execution. They read books, watch videos, buy courses, but when it comes time to act, they vanish. Because knowledge isn't power applied. Knowledge is, and action is the bridge. 40. Let go of the need to be perfect. Perfection is the enemy of progress. It tells you, don't act unless it's flawless. But nothing you build will ever be flawless at first. You build great things by starting with average things. Consistently. Without ego. 41. Most people fail because they have potential but no process. They want the outcome, but not the system. They want to rise, but not to bleed. They want the peak, but won't climb. 42. If that's you, wake up. You will never outgrow the work. You must marry your purpose to your pain. Only then will you push through the fog. 43. The only way out of mediocrity is through action, and repeated action. Consistency is boring. Yes, but success is often boring behind the scenes. Discipline is not sexy, it is silent, slow, and stubborn, but it wins. 44. Most people are inspired for a day, a week, maybe even a month, but winners are consistent for years. That's what separates the inspirational from the iconic. 45. Walt Disney was bankrupt, twice, laughed at, stolen from, but he built anyway. Because he wasn't addicted to motivation, he was obsessed with the mission. If you don't have a mission greater than your moods, you will never last long enough to see the reward. 46. You say you want change, but your habits say otherwise. Every moment you hesitate, you reinforce failure. Every moment you act, even imperfectly, you reinforce growth. 47. So build the habit of movement. Start before you're ready. Build before it's perfect. Say yes. Then figure it out. That's how all greats are born. 48. Most people are afraid to outgrow the people around them, so they shrink themselves to fit into old rooms. But listen, if you're always the biggest thinker in the room, you're in the wrong room. 49. Growth demands friction. It demands leaving people behind, not out of cruelty, but necessity. You can't fly with anchors around your feet. 50. Sometimes the greatest act of courage is walking away from comfort, from old friendships, from anything that holds you back from the future you're meant to create. 51. The longer you wait to change, the louder your regrets will become. Regret has a voice. It echoes in every opportunity you didn't take, every love you didn't pursue, every gift you left unopened. 52. The only way to silence that voice is movement. Build something, say something, start something, create something that proves you were here and that you lived. 53. You don't need more advice. You don't need another reason. You don't need more time. What you need is to start today, now, without applause, without a safety net, without guarantees. 54. Because the truth is, there's no guarantee you'll succeed, but there's one guarantee: if you don't move, you'll fail. By default, by delay, by doing nothing. 55. And that's the most painful failure of all the failure you chose. 56. If you're still breathing, you still have time. If your heart is still beating, you still have a shot. But that shot doesn't wait. It fades. Just like the days you've already wasted. Just like the fire you used to have before you listened to fear more than your own future. 57. Be done with hesitation. Kill the habit before it kills your dream. 58. When you hesitate, the world moves without you. When you act, the world has no choice but to respond. 59. No more what if. No more one day. No more waiting for the right mentor, the right mindset, the right morning. You are the moment you've been waiting for. 60. You don't need to become extraordinary to begin. You need to begin to become extraordinary. 61. The weight of your potential is not a burden, it's a responsibility, a sacred duty. You were not born to scroll endlessly, to postpone greatness, or to drown your spark in distraction. You were born to build, to become, to burn with purpose. But you can't fulfill your purpose if you spend your life in hesitation. 62. Most people fail because they never own their time. They let days pass like background noise. They waste minutes like they're infinite. But time is the only thing you'll never get back. You can rebuild your money, your health, your reputation, but not a single second. 63. The clock doesn't stop because you're unsure. The world doesn't slow down because you're scared. It keeps moving. And if you don't move with it, you'll wake up one day too late. 64. Most people fail because they're addicted to other people's opinions. They want to look good more than they want to be great. They want validation more than transformation. But if you're always trying to be understood, you'll never be undeniable. 65. Einstein was called crazy. Musk was laughed at. Jobs was fired. And yet, history remembers them not for their critics, but for their courage. You will not be remembered for the fears that held you back. You will be remembered for the mountains you moved anyway. 66. There's only one cure for the disease of hesitation. Build momentum. Start small. But start. Do not underestimate the power of 1%. One decision. One workout. One call. One bold step repeated daily. That's the difference between a dreamer and a doer. 67. You don't rise by intensity. You rise by consistency. Intensity gets applause. Consistency builds empires. Don't be the one who burned bright for a week and disappeared. Be the one who showed up rain or shine, applause or silence. 68. Your future doesn't respond to emotion. It responds to execution. It doesn't care if you're tired, sad, or uninspired. It moves for the one who moves, no matter what. In 69, most people fail because they try to build confidence before commitment. But confidence comes after. It's earned by showing up while you're still uncertain. It's forged in repetition. 70. If you're waiting to feel ready to act, you'll be waiting forever. Readiness is not a prerequisite, it's a result. 71. You want greatness. Stop talking about it. Start tracking it. Track your hours, your focus, your results. Don't lie to yourself. Most people fail because they protect their ego more than they pursue excellence. 72. Do what's required, not what's convenient. Do what's hard, not what's easy. Do what scares you, not what soothes you. 73. The greatest habit of success is choosing pain now to earn peace later. The greatest habit of failure is choosing peace now and earning pain later. One of those roads builds your future, the other steals it. 74. There is no elevator to purpose, no cheat code to mastery. Every legend you admire, every success story you quote, they all had to walk through the fire. And the fire is hesitation's killer. You must walk into it before you ever rise from it. 75. You cannot be a lion with the habits of a lamb. You cannot lead with the heart of a coward. You cannot win while worshiping fear. 76. Every second you delay is an agreement with mediocrity. Break that agreement. Today, right now. 77. The strongest people in history weren't born strong. They just stopped negotiating with fear. They just said, I'm done waiting. That's it. That's the moment everything changes. Not when you get better, but when you decide to act anyway. 78. No more planning your dreams in secret. No more preparing forever. No more hiding your fire because someone else is uncomfortable with your light. 79. Be relentless. Be unreasonable. Be unapologetic. Because the world doesn't need another polite failure. It needs a bold, imperfect, unstoppable version of you. 80. Let your fear walk beside you, but never let it lead you. Let doubt ride in the back seat, but never let it touch the wheel. 81. You have a choice. Be defined by delay or be remembered for your decisions. 82. No one will hand you the crown. You must earn it moment by moment with courage, with blood, with focus. 83. And if you fall forward. Fall learning. Fall building something that matters. 84. Because most people fail because they never start. But you're not most people. You are the exception. You are the rare one who moves anyway, who dares anyway, who builds anyway, who wins anyway. And it starts the moment you stop waiting.